Here we are. I've gotten a few items, and let me be honest, as many plates as we have spinning right now, trying to get this going, I'm afraid I've lost a couple that I don't have here to acknowledge. And if you have sent me something and I don't acknowledge it, I'm sorry. Like, I'm really sorry. I'm going to get better at this. Here's from Mr. Jesse Savage. I think there was a note in here that I've lost. The Blacksmith's Pub. I checked this out, theblacksmithspub.com, and it's a podcast. And it looks to be a good podcast, sort of for blacksmiths and a blacksmiths community. Thanks, Jesse. I think you're partnered with Rick in your podcast. Way to go. I'll check you out. I got this from David G. Dickey. This is a cool thing. And I'm not going to read all of this to you. In fact, I may not read any of it, but there's a nice little thank you card here. And then he's got this awesome story about Gus Bissig, who immigrated to the United States from Switzerland. On January 1st, 1914, he married Grace Southwick. And the guy set up a shop, a blacksmith shop. And unlike many blacksmiths, he was able to morph from blacksmithing to mechanicking as the combustion engine brought, and Mr. Henry Ford, brought cars to their community. And so he had the garage, the Bissig Garage. And at some point, the Bissig Garage, after the demise of Mr. and Mrs. Bissig, was auctioned off. And this guy, Dave Dickey, was 13 years old. Okay, so you say, so what, Wadsworth? Here's what. There was a picture of a beautiful anvil, which I don't have to show you. I didn't print it. But the note that pertained to the anvil picture was this anvil was purchased by Dave Dickey in about 1960 when he was 13 years old. He purchased it for $35 at Gus Bissig's auction with his lawn mowing money. He bid against Tom Myers, a farmer from southwest of Packwood. Dave hung out at Gus's shop when he was young. Gus's shop was northwest of the bank in Packwood. How about that? It's a 145-pound hay button made in 1899 in Brooklyn, New York. The stand was made by Dave in the 70s, and now Dave has a transport company. How about that? How many 13-year-olds do you know that would show up with their lawnmower money and buy an anvil? Well, it just so happens that was a rhetorical question for which I have an answer, because I have here a letter from Sam Gilliland. Let me read you this. Dear Scott Wadsworth and Cy Swan, I'm a 12-year-old bladesmith and blacksmith from Georgia. I've been blacksmithing for almost 3 years, and I've been making knives for 1 year. I am self-taught and still learning. Attaboy, Sam. We're all self-taught and still learning if we're wise. I'm sorry, Scott, but my parents would not let me send some pictures of my smithy and my work. Good job, Mom and Dad. Keep an eye on this boy. I mean, he's friendly, he's gregarious, he's outgoing, and it's a tough world. They said I could send you this letter and the other things in the envelope. They did say it was okay if you send back the touch mark if you and Cy decide to take this project. As you can tell in this letter, I'm not very good at writing, so my apologies. I hope one day I could come and do some work with you and Cy. If you and Cy are to make me a touch mark, I would gladly appreciate it. This has got to be the only letter/writing that I wasn't forced to write. Thank you for posting videos and letting me talk to you. Tell Cy that I said hi. A fellow blacksmith, Sam Gilliland. Attaboy, Sam. So, don't take your eye off the ball of your schoolwork, son. I mean, the forge is a lot of fun, but you got to learn everything you can learn. Like I mentioned when we talked, I don't know if I can get to your touch mark. I mean, I want to. I talked to Cy, he's game, but it's a little hard to carve out the time. So stand by. You don't have to have a touch mark this month or maybe even this fall. Let's see what happens. No guarantees. There was a fellow, and I'm sorry I don't remember your name, man. I lost your paperwork, but somebody has developed what they call a speed square holder, and you can go to speedsquareholder.com. And it's this little gizmo. The concept is this. It'll hold a speed square. I guess it can hang on your belt, maybe on a pocket. So I use Occidental carpenter bags. There's a slot in there that is so perfect. Sorry, man, I'm never going to use this. But there might be people out there for which this solves a problem, and I appreciate your confidence in sending it to me. And here's what I really appreciate. The initiative it took to conceptualize this, to go through the drill of getting a prototype made, to get some sort of a manufacturing agreement with somebody, and provide something to the world that works. Thanks for your initiative. So this is a fellow, Mark, who has a sincere concern about my hearing. And he sent me 2 pair of these things. And I've got to say, of all the hearing protection devices that I've tried using, I think these have the best chance of actually being utilized. Man, they work. So I thought right off the bat that I would do it like this, but they rub on the collar of this shirt and it's like a stethoscope. I mean, I hear this friction, so I don't know, but I'll tell you what, Mark, I appreciate you taking the time and going to the trouble of sending me these things. And your comment about old dogs and new tricks, spot on. But I'm going to give it a fair shot because my grandkids don't speak all that loud, or at least it doesn't seem all that loud. I guess I've probably already sort of disclosed that for a lot of my life I haven't been real cautious about any sort of protection, including hearing protection. Getting older, I know some people who've been losing their hearing. I know some people who have been losing their hearing even though they've never been exposed to loud noises, but that's not a reason to not protect your hearing, is it? So here's the big thing, Mark. Besides the fact that you went out of your way out of a concern for my hearing, you're facilitating me being a better example. I mean, if I've got people watching me, I need to be a better example on some of these things. So I am going to do my level best to keep these things around my neck, at least when I'm in the shop, to demonstrate that it's worth taking that 8 or 9 seconds to do something that might, be really worthwhile. Thanks a lot for thinking of me on this. And thanks to all of you for watching, for liking, for subscribing, for sharing. Couldn't do it without you.